Good evening and thank you for joining us. A Toronto man has been arrested after a dangerous exchange of gunfire yesterday afternoon in Westfort, but 3 other suspects are still at large. The shootout happened on the 200 block of Amelia Street West.
Today, police released shocking video of the incident. Mike Lang has been following the story and he joins us live in studio with more details. Mike?
Thanks, Riley. 20-year-old Iverson Thomas was arrested and charged with attempted murder, along with 6 other offenses. The incident is believed to be related to drug trafficking in the city, as a significant quantity of crack cocaine was found in the suspect's possession, along with a handgun. Security footage shows a man police identify as Iverson Thomas exiting the structure on the right in pursuit of the 3 other suspects before opening fire on them. The 3 other suspects hid behind their vehicle and fired back in response. They then used the vehicle to flee the scene while Thomas escaped by foot. Thunder Bay police officers and the primary response branch were dispatched to the lot on the 200 block of Amelia Street West at 12:45 p.m. on Tuesday. A responding officer observed a male suspect in the area that matched Thomas's description that was provided by witnesses. That allowed for him to be pursued and arrested by officers. Detective Inspector Jeremy Pearson estimates that over 20 rounds of gunfire were exchanged between the suspects.
We look at this and we see a wanton disregard for the safety of the public, for the safety of the community, and that should be of grave concern not only for the police but for all members of this community. We look at that and we see multiple rounds being fired. If you look at the manner in which those firearms are being discharged, the shots are haphazard. And I think that's being generous. So this is, of course, of significant concern, not only to the police, but also to the community.
While Pearson confirms the vehicle in the video has been seized, he adds that the police are still searching for the 3 other suspects that are shown in these security photos.
We do not believe that this evolved randomly. This was not accidental. There was a deliberate interaction that then led to this exchange.
Pearson also applauded the work that was done by the primary response branch and the witnesses who provided the security footage.
An excellent job was done in that initial response, which allowed us to lock down a scene, which allowed us to have the success we had in bringing 1 individual into custody in very short order and preserving a great deal of evidence, along with the follow-up that then led to the video and picture evidence that we were able to share with the public here today.
Pearson says the investigation remains ongoing as they're still seeking witnesses, conducting interviews, and doing forensic examinations. City police encourage anyone with additional information or video footage that can help the investigation to submit it anonymously to the police service or Crime Stoppers. Mike Lang, TBT News.
A young boy who was badly mauled by his family's Rottweilers in Terrace Bay last month continues to recover from his injuries. The 6 dogs involved in the attack were put down this week. 6-year-old Bentley Larrabee remains in a London, Ontario hospital. He suffered a broken arm, a slight vertebrae fracture, and multiple deep flesh wounds that may require skin grafts. The horrifying incident occurred on April 15th in the family's backyard. Terrace Bay resident Sylvain Tessier heard the screams and jumped over a fence to help the mother save Bentley and his little brother Oakley from the attack. Their mother says Bentley's recovery is progressing well and notes Oakley's injuries were much less severe. Tessier has set up a GoFundMe for the boys. It's already surpassed $10,000. That was the goal. Terrace Bay officials are now looking at changing bylaws to limit the number of dogs allowed in a household.
An open house was held this afternoon for the public to learn more about the preferred redesign of Victoria and Syndicate Avenues. Victoriaville Mall is set for demolition in 2024, with high hopes the construction planned afterwards will revitalize Thunder Bay's South Core. There was a big turnout for the open house, with many officials on hand to answer any questions the public had about the project. Those who dropped by also had a chance to fill out a survey about what they would like and what could be changed about the preferred design. Fort William Revitalization Committee Chair Stephen Marguerite believes this project will be crucial to the future of the city's south side.
Reopening the street, getting people down here, and then really helping to spur getting more people to live down here. With only 1% of Thunder Bay living within the downtown Fort William area, once you open it up and people see economic opportunities, building more housing and maybe having some more businesses or offices down here.
There hasn't been any improvements or business opening, and I think this may get people interested in coming down and setting up shop.
The open house will continue at Victoriaville Mall until 7 o'clock tonight.
150 years after their ancestors signed Treaty 3, Lac La Croix First Nation will finally see compensation for lands owed to them under that treaty.
The $130 million land claim settlement was formally signed at a ceremony yesterday in Lac La Croix. Lee Noonan was there.
The settlement will see Lac La Croix receive $131.3 million from Ottawa and the province in compensation for lands that were promised to the First Nation when they signed on to Treaty 3 in 1873.
It's a historic day. This is a very symbolic day. It's a really important day. It's a transformation, and I've been saying this for a long time, since I started sitting at the negotiating table for our First Nation.
Chief Carrie Adetis Norwegian says she's the 7th chief to lead the First Nation since the negotiations began more than 20 years ago. She credits many leaders, elders, negotiators, and clan trustees with bringing this settlement to fruition.
To conclude the historic claim is transformational to the lives of our community, individually, collectively. It changes our economy. It changes all aspects of our community.
The bulk of the settlement funds, $118.2 million, is coming from the federal government, with the province contributing $13.1 million.
When they calculated the amount owing, it was based on the amount of land they didn't get, plus the loss of money because their band hasn't been able to utilize that land for logging or farming for the last 150 years. So that's where you get the number. And I think certainly it's a lot of money, but it's a deal. When the government commits to a deal, I think it's obligated to follow the deal. So I'm glad our government has eventually complied with the terms of the agreement.
Our government believes in reconciliation in action, and for far too long many of these claims have seen delays, experienced delays, and as the member of provincial parliament for Kenora Rainy River in the Treaty 3 lands, frankly, we've redoubled our efforts to ensure that these claims are signed off and that communities can move forward.
For the First Nations, roughly 500 members, just over 300 of whom live on reserve, Chief Adetis Norwegian says the settlement is all about taking care of the youth, setting up future generations for success, and taking steps towards reconciliation with Canada and Ontario.
It is not only just the positive financial implications of the conclusion of our treaty land entitlement, it's also rectifying historical wrongs against our community, right?
The First Nation has already laid out a plan for how they want to invest the settlement funds. Two top priorities include the construction of a youth center and some much-needed housing in the community. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Hydro One has awarded the big contract for the Waasigan transmission line. Ballard Construction has been chosen to build the 350-kilometer-long electricity corridor. Hydro One calls it a critical milestone for the project. The Edmonton-based company also built the east-west tie between Wawa and Thunder Bay and is still working on the massive Watay Power Project to remote First Nations. Hydro One highlights Ballard's experience with major electrical infrastructure projects, as well as Indigenous engagement, adding that a large portion of the project will involve Indigenous businesses subcontracted to Ballard. The cost to develop the line is estimated at around $69 million, but the actual construction cost hasn't yet been determined. An environmental assessment is currently underway for the first phase between Shunya and Atikokan, and the second phase from Atikokan and Dryden. The new line will add 350 megawatts of electrical capacity to the region.
A Mississauga man is accused of aiding in at least 2 suicides in the province.
And the OPP and Peel Regional Police are warning that a product sold online can kill. John Musselman reports.
57-year-old Kenneth Law is facing 2 charges of counseling or aiding suicide in connection with the investigation. It relates to a sudden death on March 31st in which police believe the victim consumed sodium nitrate. The drug is used as a food additive and is commonly found in processed meats. However, consuming large quantities can impair breathing and potentially result in death.
Investigators are working in collaboration with multiple jurisdictions across Ontario, nationally and internationally, as we believe there could be more victims.
Investigators are asking anyone who has received a package from the following companies to reach out immediately. They are In Time Cuisine, Ambuca, Academic, Escape Mode, and Ice Mac.
And that was John Musselman reporting. Nipissing Council has officially accepted the resignation of Pierre Pelletier, making him the second councillor to leave in the past 4 months. Pelletier was one of 4 councillors elected in October. His resignation was accepted unanimously during last night's meeting. Council then voted to appoint a replacement rather than hold a by-election. This after Councillor Glenn Hart was appointed at the beginning of March, after John Zeckler resigned in January. When asked about the resignations and the need to fill those council seats, Mayor Suzanne Kuko emphasized the importance of maintaining quorum on council.
Yeah, so unfortunately we did have a resignation from Councillor Pelletier, which we accepted with regrets tonight for personal reasons. That's the reason that that was given to us. And
is this in any way related to the prior resignation?
No, I don't think so. Different personal reasons. Of course, we would prefer to have those who were voted in to be on council, and that would be the preference probably of the community as well. But sometimes things happen, and we just keep moving forward. You know, we have quorum. We currently have quorum. We were never left without quorum, so that's good.
Pelletier and Zeckler both declined to comment to TBT News on their reasons for resigning, saying only that there's a common thread to their departures, without elaborating. Meanwhile, former Nipissing Mayor Richard Harvey, who ran for a councillor seat and finished in 6th place, says he has no intention of applying for the seat left vacant by Pelletier.
A pair of students at Dennis Franklin Cromartie High School recently got a chance to interview one of the big-name bands coming to this year's Wake the Giant Music Festival. Derek Munoz and Kadia Akomo, recently spoke with the ex-ambassadors for DFC's new podcast being produced in partnership with CBC Radio.
I was wondering if the Jingle Dress Dance girls could join you guys up for a song on stage.
Absolutely. Yeah, what song do you want to come up on stage for?
The ex-ambassadors had a worldwide hit with their song Renegades in 2015. The 3 band members sat down for an online chat with the DFC students to discuss the upcoming event. Munoz and Okomo were excited to interview the rock stars, and they look forward to welcoming Dean Lewis and Sarah Kay, who are also set to perform at the concert, and share the stage with them. The DFC music class has been working on a song to perform at the festival.
Having bigger artists come to Wake the Giant promotes Wake the Giant more because of their fans. So then they'll see this festival, and yeah.
It means so much to me, like the message that they promote, waking up the city of Thunder Bay to realize what we have to do just to get a high school education. It's not easy at all. And I'm glad that more people are opening up to us and taking the time to learn about what we do, and I'm so grateful for those 3 amazing individuals for planning it.
This year's Wake the Giant Music Festival is set for September 16th at Marina Park. More information can be found on the Wake the Giant Facebook page.
An event encouraging youth to dream big was held at the Da Vinci Center yesterday.
Dare to Dream Day, put on by Delico Anishinaabeg Family Care and Majinajim Children's Foundation, brought families to a fun and free event to celebrate Children's Mental Health Week. Jessica Clement has the details.
Superheroes, princesses, and video game characters were just some of the attendees that could be seen at the 5th annual Dare to Dream Day event. Families were invited to dress up in their favorite costumes and were encouraged to try out the different activity stations on site. Smiles are on the faces of the kids and adults in attendance, and many of them can be seen dancing to their heart's delight. There was a little something for everyone, and we asked attendees what they enjoyed most about Dare to Dream Day.
These lightsabers like thing. Probably bouncy castle. Pink. The pink? Okay, probably the face painting she loved and the balloons she loved. She got to jump in the bouncy castles outside. She loved that. It's absolutely wonderful to have an event like this. It's free. It's fun for all the kids. They get to do everything. It's awesome. It's not a lot that you get these events.
The event started out as a fundraiser for Mazenajim's Children Foundation before partnering up with Delico Children's Mental Health a couple years ago. Since then, they've also used the event to focus on bringing awareness to mental health and showing parents and guardians what services are out there.
Here at this event, we have all of our staff volunteering and really engaging with children and families in a sort of barrier-free way. So dressed up as superheroes, handing out free things, candy bags and balloons and things like that. Really just trying to show that we're accessible to children and families and we're safe people that they can trust.
Mazenajim's Blythe Hainan says events like Dare to Dream Day have a positive impact on the mental health of children, and she hopes that they were able to create an event that they'll remember for a long time.
It's so great to see so many kids coming in with big smiles on their faces. They love seeing the superheroes. A lot of them come dressed up, but I see lots of balloon swords and them having a great time already. At Mazenajim, we want to make sure we gave them a day that they could come out and have fun. Just enjoy being a kid. Everything is free in there. All of our generous sponsors have come together and helped make this day happen.
Jessa Clement, TBT News.
Well, turning to weather now, Fiona. Slowly but surely, we were warming up a degree or so at a time.
Literally a degree or so at a time. This is slow coming. Mother Nature, she's making us work for it. We had a cool night, a low of -2 and wind chills of -5, but we did warm up to a whole 9 degrees, just off from the double digits, under mostly cloudy skies, and we did have a brief shower. If you were in the wrong spot in the city, you might have missed it, but it did hit. Winds are from the northwest today, 5 to 27 kilometers per hour. Now, we're in the single digits, but if you head west, you can see them warming up. 11 in Upsala, 16 in Atikokan at this hour. And as you head even closer to the Manitoba border, yes, those are 20s. Fort Frances, despite having an overnight low below the freezing mark, is currently at a high of 21. Ditto for Kenora, loads of sunshine. Even Red Lake topped out with a high of 20. They're currently at 19 under partly cloudy skies. Now we're going to meander eastward and see the temperatures drop again. 14 in Sioux Lookout, back to single digits for Armstrong, Pickle Lake, and Greenstone under mostly cloudy skies. 8 along the North Shore for Nipigon and Marathon, and down into Sault Ste. Marie. Not a lot of movement in temperatures at all today. They had an overnight low of, I believe, 3 and a high of 6. They're currently at 5 under mostly clear skies. Here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, we are going to drop back down to 1 Celsius under overcast conditions. Winds starting to taper off a little bit more, east-southeast 9 to 19 kilometers per hour. And as we head into Thursday, yes, there's a chance at a little bit of rain. Once again, Thunder Bay just on the edge. We always seem to be right on the edge of the systems, either staying just south or just north. So it's a little bit hit or miss whether or not we see any actual rain tomorrow. But there is going to be definitely a mix of sun and cloud. I'll have more details on what will follow and what temperatures we will finally reach. Will we hit double digits? We'll have to see later on in the news hour.
Thank you so much, Fiona. Well, we have some updates about the 2 firefighters who got swept away by the flood waters in Quebec earlier this week. One of their bodies have been discovered. We will give you those details and much more as your Wednesday News Hour continues.
Some problems may be solved, some maybe not.